The sky over Ahmedabad on June 12, 2025, was a canvas of brilliant, almost mocking blue. It was a Tuesday, and the heat was already building, promising another sweltering day in the heart of Gujarat. Little did the city's inhabitants know that this seemingly ordinary day would soon be etched into their memories as a day of unimaginable tragedy. At 1:38 in the afternoon, as the city pulsed with its usual midday rhythm, the cacophony of traffic, the distant hum of industry, the chatter of daily life, that routine was irrevocably shattered. A sound, unlike anything anyone had ever heard before, ripped through the air, a deafening, guttural roar that seemed to claw at the very sky itself. Instinctively, heads turned skyward, faces squinting against the glare, to witness a sight that defied comprehension. An Air India Boeing 787 Dreamliner, a symbol of modern aviation and safe passage, was flying impossibly low, its wings tilted at an unnatural, almost grotesque angle, askew against the clear blue backdrop. It was descending rapidly, not in a controlled approach, but like a wounded giant, struggling against an invisible force. The aircraft, a marvel of engineering built for the heavens, for soaring effortlessly through the clouds, was now plummeting uncontrollably toward Earth. Its descent was a terrifying spectacle, a stark violation of the natural order. Eyewitnesses, frozen in disbelief, described a noise that followed, a sound like a bomb blast, an earth-shattering explosion that resonated deep within their chests. It was a force that shook the ground beneath their feet, rattled bones within their bodies, and sent tremors of fear through their very souls. The air itself seemed to vibrate with the sheer intensity of the sound. Students at BJ Medical College, engrossed in their studies, looked up in horror as the plane's ominous shadow swept over them, a dark harbinger of the catastrophe to come. The shadow moved quickly, a fleeting moment of dread before the unimaginable. The Dreamliner's landing gear was down, a desperate attempt at a last-minute landing, but its flaps were inexplicably up, a configuration that made no sense to seasoned pilots and aviation experts alike. It was a fatal anomaly, a sign that something was terribly, irrevocably wrong. With a final, sickening lurch, a violent shudder that ran through the aircraft's frame, the plane crashed. The impact was deafening, a cataclysmic collision of metal and earth. It tore through buildings in the densely populated Meghaninagar area, a swathe of destruction carved into the urban landscape. Homes and businesses were ripped apart, reduced to rubble in an instant, before slamming with terrifying force into the college, a place of learning and healing, now transformed into a scene of unimaginable carnage. A massive fireball erupted, a searing inferno that consumed everything in its path, sending a thick plume of black smoke billowing into the sky, a dark stain visible for miles across the city and beyond. The air, once filled with the sounds of the city, was now thick with the acrid stench of burning jet fuel, a pungent reminder of the lives lost and the devastation wrought. For the 242 souls aboard Air India Flight 171, dreams of London, of new beginnings, of reunions with loved ones, ended abruptly in a maelstrom of fire and twisted metal. Their journeys cut short in the most brutal and unexpected way. On the ground, the tragedy deepened, its tendrils reaching out to claim innocent lives, to shatter families, and to leave dozens injured, their lives forever altered by the events of that day. News of the disaster spread instantly, racing across the globe with terrifying speed, fragmented, often confused but unmistakably grim in its core message. A plane had crashed in Ahmedabad. Shaky mobile videos captured by terrified onlookers began to surface online, offering a raw, unfiltered glimpse of the shock and horror that unfolded in those first chaotic moments. In London, at Gatwick Airport, families, their hearts filled with anticipation, waited anxiously at the arrivals board, their eyes glued to the screen. They watched in growing dread as AI171 went from delayed, a minor inconvenience, to gone, a devastating finality, replaced by the appearance of a grim-faced airline representative, bearing news no one wanted to hear. The day the sky fell had begun, casting a long, dark shadow, not just over Ahmedabad, but across continents, a shadow of grief, of uncertainty, and of fear. The world would soon demand answers, searching for explanations in the wreckage and the aftermath. But for now, in the immediate aftermath of the disaster, all that remained was the overwhelming sense of devastation, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictable nature of fate. As the dust settled, A profound sense of loss gripped the world. The immediate aftermath was a scene of chaos and grief, but slowly, painstakingly, the process of understanding began. Details of the Air India Flight AI171 disaster emerged. The scale of the tragedy was immense, demanding answers and accountability. The aircraft, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, a modern marvel of aviation engineering, now lay in ruins. This particular aircraft had logged over 41,000 flight hours, a testament to its service and reliability, making the sudden and catastrophic failure all the more perplexing. It was en route from Ahmedabad, a bustling city in India, to London Gatwick, a major international hub, a routine flight that ended in unimaginable tragedy. On board were 242 souls, passengers and crew, each with their own stories, their own hopes, and their own destinations. They hailed from India, the UK, Portugal, and Canada, a diverse group of individuals connected by a single fateful journey. The flight took off as scheduled, a seamless departure into the vast expanse of the sky, giving no indication of the horror that was to come. But mere minutes later, catastrophe struck with brutal and unforgiving force, shattering lives and leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. The crash site in Meghaninagar, a residential area, became an instant graveyard, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating power of aviation disasters. It was a scene of concentrated devastation, a landscape of twisted metal and shattered dreams, where the hopes and aspirations of hundreds were extinguished in an instant. The toll, 246 lives lost, a number that resonated with profound sadness and sparked international mourning. Tragically, this included 5 medical students on the ground, young individuals with bright futures whose lives were cut short by the unforeseen disaster. In a moment of unbelievable fortune, one passenger, Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, survived, a beacon of hope amidst the overwhelming despair. He was jumped off from the plane, injured but alive, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the dedication. His state of mind was example. His account will be crucial to understanding what happened in those final, terrifying moments, providing invaluable insights into the sequence of events. But for the families of the other 241 on board, there were no miracles, only the crushing weight of grief and the agonizing search for closure. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau immediately took charge of the investigation, determined to uncover the truth behind the tragedy. They were joined by the US NTSB, bringing their expertise and resources to the effort, along with a technical team from Boeing, the aircraft manufacturer. The search for the black boxes, the cockpit voice and flight data recorders, became the immediate and overriding priority. These vital pieces of equipment held the key to unlocking the mystery, offering a glimpse into the final moments of the flight. Air India's owner, the Tata Group, stepped forward, promising full transparency and comprehensive compensation to the victims' families. Condolences poured in from world leaders across the globe, uniting nations in shared grief and solidarity with those affected by the disaster. The world watched with bated breath, waiting for answers, for explanations, for some semblance of understanding in the face of such profound loss. The investigation had only just begun, a long and arduous process of piecing together the fragments of what happened. The cause of the disaster remained a mystery, shrouded in uncertainty and speculation. But the search for truth was underway, driven by a commitment to honor the memory of those lost and to prevent such a tragedy from ever happening again. When a modern jet like the 787 crashes, suspicion often falls on its complex automated systems. History has shown that a single faulty sensor can trigger disaster, as seen in the 737 MAX crashes. The Dreamliner relies on a web of sensors. If one fails, the autopilot can disengage or worse, act on false data. Eyewitnesses saw the plane flying low, landing gear down, flaps up, a sign the pilots were battling a severe control issue. In such moments, pilots fight not just the elements, but a machine that may be working against them. The investigation would focus on whether a sensor or system failure set off the fatal chain of events. Beyond software, the physical aircraft itself can fail, catastrophically. Structural fatigue, hydraulic failure, or an uncontained engine explosion can all bring down a plane in seconds. Investigators will scour the wreckage for signs of metal fatigue, engine debris, or maintenance lapses. The bomb-like noise could point to an engine or structural failure, especially with a full load of fuel. Even a bird strike or runway debris can trigger disaster if it hits just the wrong spot. Every possibility must be ruled out to find the true cause. In every air disaster, attention inevitably turns to the cockpit. It's the focal point, the place where decisions are made and outcomes are determined. Pilot error is often cited, but it's a simplistic term for a world of immense complexity. It barely scratches the surface of the pressures and challenges faced by those in control. Pilots face a blizzard of alarms, a cacophony of warnings demanding immediate attention. Each light, each sound, represents a potential threat that needs to be assessed and addressed. They rely on checklists, meticulously crafted procedures designed to guide them through countless emergency scenarios. These aren't just suggestions, they are the lifeline in moments of crisis. And they must make split-second decisions, often with incomplete information and under immense pressure. Every choice carries significant weight, potentially impacting the lives of everyone on board. Imagine the cockpit of AI171, a sudden jolt, the aircraft bucking violently, throwing everything into disarray, alarms blaring, a deafening symphony of urgency that can easily overwhelm the senses. A master caution light flashes insistently, demanding immediate attention, maybe a fire warning, adding another layer of complexity to the unfolding crisis. The captain immediately takes manual control, wrestling with the aircraft to regain stability, while the first officer frantically runs the emergency checklist, searching for the correct procedure. But what if the checklist doesn't match the chaos unfolding before them? What if the situation is unprecedented? Confusion sets in, a dangerous fog that can cloud judgment and slow reactions. Controls feel heavy, sluggish. The plane isn't responding as it should. Every input requires immense effort, and the desired outcome remains elusive. Communication is absolutely critical. Any breakdown in teamwork, any misunderstanding can be fatal. Clear, concise communication is the bedrock of effective crisis management. Fatigue, the insidious enemy of alertness, stress, the relentless pressure cooker, and unfamiliar failures, cascading malfunctions, can overwhelm even the best trained and most experienced crew. The sheer volume of information can become paralyzing. Simulators, as realistic as they are, can't possibly prepare pilots for every conceivable scenario. They can train for known emergencies, but not for the truly unexpected. Sometimes they face a crisis no one ever imagined, a confluence of events so unique and improbable that it defies all training and preparation. The crew of AI171 may have fought a desperate, heroic battle against the unknown, facing a situation that pushed them to the very limits of their abilities. Their final moments were likely spent trying absolutely everything within their power to save their passengers, exhausting every option, clinging to the hope of a miracle. The cockpit voice recorder, the silent witness, will reveal their struggle, capturing their words, their actions, and the unfolding drama in the final moments. Their actions will be meticulously scrutinized, analyzed, and debated, but their courage, their dedication, and their unwavering commitment to their passengers should never be forgotten. In the end, they faced impossible odds, a situation so dire that survival seemed beyond reach. In the aftermath of disaster, conspiracy theories flourish. Before facts emerge, the internet fills with speculation, hacking, secret weapons, even deliberate attacks. These theories offer simple villains in a complex world. History is full of such speculation, from MH370 to TWA800. But real answers come from evidence, not online whispers. Investigators rely on science, not speculation. The truth about AI171 lies in the wreckage, not in rumor. After every tragedy, the question is, could it have been prevented? Disasters are rarely caused by a single failure. They're the result of a chain of missed warnings and safety lapses. Investigators will scrutinize Boeing's design, Air India's maintenance, and regulatory oversight. Was there pressure to cut corners? Were safety concerns ignored? Prevention demands a culture where safety comes before profit, and problems are reported without fear. The chain of error likely began long before takeoff. Breaking that chain is the only way to prevent the next tragedy. Beyond the technical analysis lies the human cost. 246 lives, each with their own story, ended in minutes. Grief radiates from Ahmedabad to London and beyond. Families wait in agony, communities mourn, and faces of the victims fill the news. The process of identification is slow and painful. The community of Meganinagar is scarred, its students lost. The world's outpouring of support is a testament to our shared humanity. Honoring the victims means demanding the answers and fighting for safer skies. The The story of AI171 is a tragedy etched in fire and metal. The investigation will move from chaos to data, from grief to answers. The findings will force Boeing, Air India, and regulators to confront hard truths. Public trust in aviation depends on transparency and reform. The industry must put safety above all else. The greatest lesson is human honor the victims by making change. Their loss must drive innovation and vigilance. Only then can we ensure the sky over Ahmedabad never falls again.